Welcome, humans, and thank you for tuning in to the Scruffy-looking Gamers Movie Reviews. Take it away, Travis.
My name is Travis Stewart. We are here to discuss movies, games, Miyazaki, more Miyazaki, all great stuff.
I'm Philip Reese, by the way.
You're Philip Reese? Are you Philip Reese?
Yep. So I woke up this morning, wanted some hot coffee, or chocolate, which is what this is, yeah?
Yes.
And it came to my attention that we have both now seen Star Wars The Force Awakens 3 times.
3 times.
And we haven't even talked about it that much.
No.
So
Not much is the keyword.
I figured we should
A little bit.
set up the camera, tell the world our thoughts. And by the way, this is going to be a very spoiler-heavy movie review and discussion thing. So
If you haven't seen the movie yet,
so go away.
Turn away.
3,
watch
2,
it.
1. Han Solo died!
Our first question, by the way, we just woke up. This is our grisly-looking morning talk. We don't put on makeup. We haven't shaved.
I'm like this all day, but yeah.
You know, we're like, this is what we do. We're reviewing movies just after waking up, and literally Star Wars has been on our mind all night. It's been on my mind all night.
I mean, gosh, what is it? What's today's date? The 29th of January? It's been out for over a month now, I think?
Yes.
30th of January.
30th, yes. I can't go over Kylo Ren. I can't stop thinking about Kylo Ren.
Alright, so get us started. What are we doing?
I can't stop. Okay. First question. Do you think Star Wars The Force Awakens was a success?
Success? It depends on what you mean by success. I mean, considering that as of today, I think it's sitting at like $1.9 billion. Whereas Donald Trump, billion dollars. $1.9 billion. Is that a success? It's like third in history for like most money.
It is third in history in the world.
Probably gonna pass Titanic. Maybe
Titanic. I don't know. It slowed down quite a bit right towards the end there. The issue is that Star Wars is far more successful in America than it is anywhere else in the world.
Indeed.
It's not like Avatar, which made like $2.8 billion because everyone in China went to see it. You know, people saw it, Star Wars in China, but not nearly as many, so it's probably not going to be that as successful. But doesn't mean it's not a success.
It's a huge success.
It's much.
The movie cost them $200 million.
It did better than any of the prequel Star Wars films did.
And with the toys alone, they've already gotten like all the money back that they threw at Lucas. So
yes.
It's a success.
Yes, it's a huge success. Now, was it a success as a film?
Ooh, absolutely. I think so.
No, why do you say?
Because a lot of people are saying like, oh, they played it really safe. But they needed to, because if you think about it, the prequels didn't play it safe, and like maybe 1% of the population liked it, and the smarter 99% were like, this movie sucks. All 3 of them. Well, they don't suck, all 3 of them, but yeah, anyway, you get my point. So it was a little safer, and it did what the franchise needed to do to propel it into the next, 5 movies that are coming out?
Yes.
So, yes, I would say a success monetarily and a success just as for the audience, for the fans.
I have to agree with that. Though you did mention the prequels not being entirely huge failures. We'll have to have a whole discussion about that later on in another video. About how we both agree about that the prequels largely sucked, but there are things about the prequels
Here.
Yes,
Yes, here.
Prequels suck. All right. But we have to admit, but there are a few scenes that were still really great in the prequels. We'll have to do a whole video about that later on.
Indeed.
So let's go.
Oh yes, next question.
Next question.
So I would ask you, what did you think that JJ relied too much on like the nostalgia?
Well, you can argue that. You can argue that J.J. Abrams definitely did rely on nostalgia, especially since the film pretty much is a retelling of A New Hope. However, I do agree with his... actually, I disagree with the fact that he relied on nostalgia in the first place. Because while people people had a problem with it, they had a problem that he relied too much on it. Honestly, after the prequels, we kind of should have expected that he was going to rely so much on nostalgia, since that's what we wanted. We wanted the original films. We wanted to see A New Hope again. We did. We wanted to see the new Luke Skywalker. We want to have another Obi-Wan Kenobi. We want to have the original feel. So of course he was going to rely on it.
I will say it did have the original feel. Absolutely.
He definitely had the original feel. Now, do I feel that he over-relied on it? Maybe, a little bit. I think that he, there were points where I felt like, I definitely didn't need another Death Star.
Okay.
I didn't need a Star Killer base.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I had already said before this movie that Return of the Jedi already was pushing it by having a second Death Star. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they had a third Death Star? I used to joke about
it. Oh, yeah, watch them make a third. Yeah, right. They're not that stupid.
And they totally did. They had a third Death Star.
But...
And not even a star. It literally is a star this time. They literally made it a star.
You're right.
It's a planet that sucks in stars.
And then it turned into a star.
And then it turns into a star at the end. So literally, it was a Death Star.
But it was Star Killer.
But it was Star Killer base. Because they were trying not... Because they didn't want to call it Death Star, even though it is a Death Star, because that would have been 2 on the nose.
So, as far as nostalgia though, the Millennium Falcon revealing was epic.
Yes.
So I didn't feel like that was needed. I loved the way they did it.
Yeah.
Like, they called it a piece of junk. And everyone kind of knew exactly what she was talking about. Even before they panned over to it, I was like, they didn't even look at it. I know exactly what they're talking about. And then the ship blew up and they turned. That was an awesome reveal. The whole crowd, I've seen it 3 times, twice, 2 of my viewings, which are about a week apart, the whole crowd cheered. Including
my crowd cheered too with that.
So that
the Millennium
awesome.
Falcon, they cheered with the Millennium Falcon. They cheered when
Han Solo getting on
when Han Solo came on the Millennium Falcon. They cheered, obviously, with the opening crawl. But they also cheered when Rey got the lightsaber in the film. When she finally uses the Force to get the lightsaber from Kylo Ren. The whole audience was like, yeah! And this is what we've been missing for years.
There was a bunch of cheers even with the little chess thing game, with the little clay animation.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they brought that back. And here's the other thing about the nostalgia thing, is they didn't have they didn't dwell on any of it too much. It wasn't even really that big of a deal. Like, it wasn't central points of the movie. So it wasn't like, it didn't bother me, honestly. I've heard a lot of people kind of gripe about it. So what? I mean, it was fun.
About it.
It was fun. And that's what movies are for. Well, this movie.
A little bit of trivia there, that they actually brought Phil Tippett back to do that claymation scene again. So it wasn't the original claymation game from A New Hope. They actually redid it.
Was it?
Again.
Did they have the guy lift him and throw him down? I don't remember.
I did not. Oh, I don't remember.
Was it the same thing?
Did they do that?
I don't know. I'd have to see it a 4th time.
I don't remember either.
Anyway.
Next question. What scenes worked in the film?
Ooh, okay. When you ask that question, the first one that comes to mind has to be when the Star Killer is finished absorbing the sun, and it goes dark, and Kylo's face, which was like kind of flushed with red on this side and kind of a lighter color on this side, it all went red when that happened, and you're like, goodbye, Han. You just knew it was coming. And that scene really worked for me. It worked even more for me the 3rd time I saw it, which is weird. Like, the first time, I wasn't really like, oh no, Han Solo. I mean, I was like that, but I wasn't like, I didn't really feel it in my emotions. I just kind of up here. Mm-hmm. But the 3rd time I saw it, for some reason, maybe I just, the overwhelming, oh my gosh, this is Star Wars, had faded a little bit, and I got to actually absorb the movie a little more. Yeah, and that scene worked for me more the 3rd time, which is weird.
I was the same way when I saw it the 3rd time, 2nd and 3rd time. The first showing was just such a shock that we were seeing a new Star Wars movie at all.
It's like we've been waiting this for 30
waited
years.
for so long that like the movie didn't even absorb. I felt like I couldn't get past the opening crawl. I was still thinking about the opening crawl,
which was worded
very excellently, very awesome. It's probably the best opening crawl of any Star Wars films.
Absolutely.
Beautiful opening crawl. But I couldn't get over that part. And with the theme music playing, so by the time I got to Han Solo dying, I still was not over the earlier scene. So it wasn't until the 2nd or 3rd film I really started to process that scene particularly. When Han Solo, like the impact. The first time I saw it, actually, I was so shocked from his death that I wasn't even able to pay attention to the rest of the film. I feel like I was so into the moment that everything else with Kylo Ren and Rey and Finn, all that stuff, I didn't even process it. I had to see it the 2nd and 3rd time to realize what was going on. But yeah, I mean, that scene's incredible.
Yeah, that scene worked. Any scenes that jump out to you that really worked for you?
I particularly like the scene. Oh, I love all the scenes with humor. That's for one thing. I love all the humor in the movie. There's so many scenes. I knew this movie was going to be better than the prequels, mostly for the fact that it actually had humor that was funny. Because the prequels attempted humor at points, and it just wasn't funny.
Oh gosh, where did they attempt humor? Oh, okay, with the R2's trying.
There was one creature who was rumored to be a villain in this movie.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh, Jar Jar.
We don't speak his name.
That is totally repressed. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like Lord Voldemort. You speak his name, and all hell breaks loose.
Please don't
it's like, I think it starts with the letter.
No, don't even go there.
And rhymes with kinks.
Gosh! Alright. Let's move on.
Okay.
So what scenes do you think did not work? For you?
I do have a thing about this. I hate the entire scene with Han Solo, Rey, and Finn and Chewbacca on the Millennium Falcon with those tentacle monster things.
What were they called? They started with an R, right?
They did. The rat.
I can't.
And see, I feel bad. I don't remember the names because I didn't like them. I hated them.
Yeah.
I felt like they were just a bunch of CGI creatures to throw at them for this scene, it just didn't work. They were all CGI, which went against all the practical stuff JJ was already doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. If the whole movie was practical, if the whole movie was CGI, it might have worked a little better.
Yeah.
But they really stood out.
It really stood out, and it really bothered me. And Han Solo. I love Harrison Ford, but he didn't really look like he was really like like he wasn't reacting that much. It was kind of the scene just didn't work. It reminded me a lot of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films, where he loves aliens. He loves having aliens. He loves having giant tentacle kind of things. The first Star Trek film had that giant snow beast that was chasing Kirk through the snow. I think Into Darkness had a scene like that too.
Well, and Men in Black had it looked like a creature straight out of Men in Black.
That's true. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it looked like a Men in Black alien. And
no thanks.
That whole scene I could have done without.
Well, why not go practical? Seriously,
yeah.
I mean, it's worked.
And
so
I can
far.
argue that too about. I can go ahead and go into it now. I want to go ahead and talk about it now. The fact that the visual effects on the whole were great.
Mm-hmm.
But then we started,
especially in the beginning. They had that chicken old man with the backpack and the
all the puppets going on.
Gosh, that was awesome.
You had the puppets. You had real explosions, real suits, not the clone trooper stuff.
Yes, thank you.
We had real locations, real everything. But every once in a while in the film, for some reason, JJ felt like he needed to have a CG character, which Lord of the Rings proved that you can do a CG character if it's done right.
Yeah, but the Mouth of Sauron, wasn't that practical?
That was a practical.
That was awesome.
That was awesome too.
It was a mix, actually.
Yeah, Mouth of Sauron was great too. That was a mixture. They made his mouth like CGI.
Yeah,
it was an actual person. This film, though, with the character of, I'm going to edit this part, by the way. I just realized I don't remember the name of the Maz. Is it Maz?
Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata.
You don't have to edit that. We're good. Maz Kanata.
All right. Maz Kanata. Where the CGI stands out is with Maz Kanata and.
Honestly, the Maz Kanata wasn't too bad. She was almost. I mean, she was as good as Gollum.
No, she wasn't. Though.
She was, man. Look at the texture. She got texture.
No.
Snoke. I can give you Snoke.
Snoke was just not good.
He looked like
a giant CG creature who looked like he was animated. It looked like an early 2000s CGI.
I would also argue they need to move away from Andy Serkis.
Really? What's your reason?
Absolutely. Look, he's good, but if you do motion capture of the same guy over and over, and then you code him with CG, with, texture, you're going to see the same thing. Oh, there's the chimp from the Planet of the Apes. Oh, there's Gollum. He looks the same. Oh, there's King Kong. Come on, guys. There are other people. I mean, it's not like the acting is that. I've watched them do the capturing. They don't always use his expressions. They add stuff. I'm telling you. You don't have to stick to the same guy over and over for every... It's like, oh, CGI time, motion capture. Let's call that Andy Serkis guy over here. Come on. It's not his thing alone.
But he looks different in everything he does.
I saw.
He's literally a different creature.
I saw Gollum in this.
No, okay, I love it. His mouth. There was a point where his mouth was like... He was like... Solo. He did that. He did that hard. So he did that same thing he did when he was an ape and down the planet.
I know what I'm saying, and he even did the Gollum thing when he told Kylo Ren to what was it? Yeah, to bring the girl to him. He was like, and bring her to me.
Oh yeah, he went. Bring her to me. That's it.
No,
which was literally
it was
I don't know.
Gollum.
You screamed at her. I don't know if he screwed
I
it.
saw it. If you go watch that part and bring her to me, you'll see.
We only saw it 3 times now. We know what we're talking about. Yeah, Kia, you're right. There was, but see, that didn't bother me though, because I love it. He's like the only actors who knows how to do that correctly. So.
What, you put a bunch of dots on him?
But he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor, but why? I mean, they don't use the same actor for every single movie.
And he also knows a ton about motion. Like, he owns his own motion capturing company, which probably helped with the film. Though that's what weirded me out, is why does Snoke look so bad then? Because when you watch Planet of the Apes...
Well, motion capture is only motion capture, you know?
Well, but
the rest is CGI.
Well, it's CGI, but, like, whoever did the CGI artistry with it just wasn't as good. Like, when you watch Planet of the Apes or Dawn of Planet of the Apes, it looks realistic. When you watch Gollum, it looks realistic.
Well, okay, because Planet of the Apes is a chimpanzee. We actually know what a chimpanzee looks like.
Yeah.
And King Kong is a gorilla. We know what a gorilla looks like. But when you're doing a new alien species, I don't know, they did Gollum.
But it looked, that's what they say, Gollum looked like a monster. So, and Snoke actually looked more human than Gollum did. So, like, he actually had a full face with, you know, it just was not
kind of elongated.
It wasn't very good. So anyway, we went into only about visual effects, but I'm telling you,
practical is the way to go.
Practical is the way to go, and most of the film got it right. Don't get me wrong. The practical, I love the fact that the film focused so much on practical, like the lightsabers or real lightsabers, things that they were using. It was, you know, everything they were doing is very, very real. The fights are real. It was all awesome.
Maz looked fine.
It just made the CGI stand out even more than it usually would have. Anyway,
I thought Maz Kanata worked, but whatever.
What did you think about the music?
The music. Fail. Not fail, but it wasn't Star Wars standards. I guess John's getting old. Makes me sad. I don't know what happened. Of the 7 Star Wars movies, it was the weakest, I think, in the movies. But it was appropriate music. I mean, it's better than, like, Star Trek. If you were to go watch the Star Trek, I would say it's better than that.
Yeah, I guess I could argue that too.
But
it is really good.
I mean, like, I didn't come away, like, humming anything new. There was nothing new, nothing catchy, nothing... Even the prequels had better music, and that's weird.
Well, and granted, Phantom Menace actually had one of the best scores out of any of the Star Wars movies. It was
Indeed.
Duel of the Fates and that.
Yes.
Oh, God, those were good scores.
So what do you think about it?
Well, I've had time to think about this, having bought the soundtrack the day. I bought the soundtrack the day it came out, and just listened to it. Oh yeah, I was listening to it. This is the guy that when I camped out for Phantom Menace when it came out. We were camping out overnight for the theater because back then you couldn't buy tickets online. Camped out overnight for it, and I had already had the soundtrack. I was listening to the soundtrack, and in the one of the track listings was Qui-Gon's funeral. So they pretty much they spoiled the entire film off the track list from.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
But see, I was so into Star Wars music that I didn't care. I cared more about the music than I did about the storyline. That's how much John Williams mattered to me.
Yeah, John Williams.
So seeing this film, I had really big expectations. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad music at all. Like, it's very, very good music, but...
I was sure the music was gonna be good because the trailer...
The trailer music was fantastic, though it turned out John Williams didn't do that.
Exactly. I thought it was. I was like, wow,
that
John.
operatic music,
Bravo.
when you see Kylo Ren, the operatic music's playing, and he's like... What's the line he says?
Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish
I will finish what you started.
what you started.
There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Oh, man. That's Leia's theme, right?
That's Han Solo and Leia's theme.
Yeah.
It's their love theme.
Oh, okay.
Their make-out theme.
Alright.
But what I was going to say about the music is that I had time to think about it. There's a couple of things I think happened with this film. One, J.J. Abrams directed it and not Lucas, and Lucas wasn't involved. The thing with Lucas is that when he wrote and directed when he did the first A New Hope film and directed the prequels, and wrote and produced Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he makes his film to music. He writes all his stories to classical themes, and he would share that with John Williams of the kind of music that he was listening to. Which is where a lot of that stuff was based on. It was based off the stuff that Lucas himself had said that he wanted to be like. And so that didn't happen this time. You didn't have... I don't know if J.J. Abrams writes the music, and so you didn't have that musical element.
If you want to watch a movie that matches the music that came out in 2015, you have to watch Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max had a great score.
You could watch that movie with just the music and have all the action and talking out.
And see, Mad Max, what Mad Max did right with the music is that worked like a sound film. You could watch the film, not listen to any of the dialogue, and still know what's going on. Even without the visuals, the music still explained. And this is why John Williams' scores were so great from the original films.
Because he would watch the movies while conducting.
Yeah, well, like you could. Well, he still does that, but like it's changed. Like he's not doing it as well now. Like when you watch the original Star Wars: A New Hope film, you could you could not watch the film, listen to the soundtrack of A New Hope, and still know what's going on in the film because it's such an operatic, such a storytelling score that it made it to where it was its own standalone masterpiece. This film and the Phantom Menace actually did that really well too. Phantom Menace's score was also
that was
very, very, very good, and so is Attack of the Clones.
And they also used silence really well too.
They used silence.
The pod racing. There was a lot of stuff for like.
Now I will give Force Awakens. They did use silence pretty well in this film. Like when Finn and Kylo Ren start fighting, there's no music during that point, and there's and the points wherever Kylo Ren's trying to integrate her with the Force, there's no music during those scenes.
Silence is very, very powerful.
So, and also John Williams too had kind of a rough year last year. He got sick, from what I understand, which is why he didn't compose the music for Bridge of Spies, which Thomas Newman ended up doing instead. Which kind of, I don't know if that messed with him.
Still haven't seen it.
So I don't know. It's something got lost in the process of it, and I don't really want to place all the blame on John Williams because
No, you can't blame him.
No,
he's like what, 80 something?
Yeah, he's 80 years old or something like that, and he's had a really long industrious career. And who knows? Maybe he was told to make the music like that. It was J.J. Abrams. This is the first.
No. J.J. Abrams said he didn't tell him a daggone thing. Remember?
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that he didn't. He said he didn't give him anything to.
Well, I think that's what he did with all of them. He's like, I got this.
Oh, really? Because Lucas definitely did have music that he was listening to. Because when you watch, like, Lucas would name the score, the music he was listening to, and then you listen to the Star Wars soundtrack, you're like, oh. Yeah, it was very Wanger-esque kind of music.
JJ, I think I saw in an interview, he said that's the one thing that he didn't even, like, mention or he was just like starstruck when he saw.
And maybe I would have done the same thing.
He's like, make the music for me. I love you. I'm your biggest fan, and walked out.
And really, I wouldn't do it either because, like, what are you going to tell John Williams what to do?
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, Mr. Williams,
can you use that instrument that they play like this? He's like a violin.
I really like the flute. Can we have more flute? Can we have more cowbell?
Cowbell.
Oh, cowbell. We got a cowbell.
I'll be honest. You're gonna want more cowbell.
Just cowbell. Okay. Anyway, all right.
Did the film answer all of your questions that you had going in?
No. And this is why. Because, well, it answers certain things about where Han Solo was and Leia and Luke. It answered all that stuff. What it doesn't answer is questions that it raised itself. And
like what?
Like, for example, the planet's being blown up.
Oh, gosh.
This is one example. There's a few examples of a Starkiller base, which, first of all, I didn't want that to be in the film anyway. And so, it was a great scene when it blows up the planet. It's really well-directed, beautiful scene of the planet's being blown up. But we have no freaking idea what those planets are. At that moment, we find out that there's a Senate.
I know.
Okay, only just now.
And it looked like Coruscant.
And it looked like Coruscant. Okay,
and it wasn't, apparently.
Which it apparently isn't. Why they made it look like Coruscant, I have no idea, because that made a lot of people freak out because we've gotten so used to Coruscant. I know. And then why went that's the other question. Then why is the Senate not on Coruscant now? Why did they move it? And why is the Senate? Well, and as soon as we find out that there is a Senate, they're all dead. So like so they weren't even relevant before this moment.
So that's another scene that didn't work.
Yeah, I guess it is. It sucks because the scene's great. It's a very emotional scene. The music's awesome. It's just a powerful scene, but there's no emotional weight behind it because we have no idea who was on these planets. I mean, the first A New Hope, when they blew up Alderaan, it was a huge deal. One planet.
I will admit, Princess Leia did not act like her home planet was blown up.
Well, granted,
if you watch it again, she's like,
granted, none of the actors in the original films really were like real dramatically amazing.
But at least it was a bigger part of the story.
Yeah, well, and they at least explained the emotional connection with it. You at least knew that it was her home planet.
And they had Obi-Wan like sit down. And
he was like,
"Oh crap!"
He's like, "I just heard a million of voices cry out in terror in the silence."
That was awesome.
They put weight to it. This film was like, "Oh, they blew up the planet." And then
Five planets.
How many people died? And they were more.
Is bigger always better? I mean, is this going to turn into the Dragon Ball Z saga all of a sudden?
And they were more concerned with finding Rey Like they were more concerned with like finding, like, because
No, Han Solo was not there to find Rey. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
He was like, "Wait, what are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here to find Rey." He's like, "Are you serious?"
I was like, the planet just blew up, and all of a sudden people just moved on and said nothing happened just now. So anyway, that scene didn't work for me. I'm not sure about
questions
when Kylo Ren got his mask. When he took off his mask, I'm not sure if that was a good idea yet.
Oh, you think they should have not personified him so much?
I think they should have. I sometimes think maybe you should have waited a little bit to do that.
Alright, so if you compare him to Darth Vader, right off the bat, you can say that, like, he has way more character than Darth Vader did from Episode 4. If you watch them back to back, Darth Vader in Episode 4 is literally a monotone villain with no substance. I'm sorry, that's just the truth.
Yeah.
In Episode 4. He's awesome, he's bad A. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, there's nothing more. He's not layered. I appreciate this because if he was masked the whole time, I'd be like, it is too much like the originals with a masked villain who's awesome and powerful and black. You know, no. Instead, they take off his mask. You see, he's actually kind of a wannabe. He's kind of a weakling, a little bit. Like he's a brat.
Yeah, he's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a spoiled brat who doesn't have his act together. He's powerful, but he's not wise. He doesn't know the ways of the Force, but he's very brutal with what he does know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they showed him as he's got weaknesses, and he's not what he wants to be. And I actually appreciated that a lot. I was very appreciative of it, actually.
Though, just realized, getting back on topic about did the film give us answers, is yes, mostly. It purposely left things unanswered for the next film, obviously. Like when you find Luke, they obviously don't answer what he's been doing this whole time. They don't talk about much about Kylo Ren's past, except that he messed up at some point and killed a bunch of Jedis. But you don't know exactly what the circumstances were or anything like that. So it felt like a JJ film where I felt like it purposely left things unanswered, which is fine because it's gonna have sequels. But then also there were questions that should have been answered in the same film, like the planets blowing up and stuff like that. I mean, were there any things that stood out to you that like any answers that you felt like weren't?
Well, I'm glad they didn't say, "Hey, this is who Rey is."
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that.
We didn't need to know that. In fact, I don't think they're going to show us who Rey is until Episode 9. I don't think they're going to answer it in the next one. I don't.
Really?
Yep. And
do you think that'll make people really upset that they had to wait?
Yeah, I do.
I do. They're gonna be pretty mad.
But I think people focus too much on it. That these Star Wars movies shouldn't be about who someone is in relationships. That just because Episode 5 did it so well doesn't mean they need to do it again over and over.
Though I am happy that people love these characters so much that they actually care about them.
Yes.
See, the prequels, that didn't happen. We didn't care about Anakin. We didn't know. We didn't care what happened to Anakin. We knew. See, those films are weird because we already knew where he was going to end up. We already knew he was going to turn evil. Mm-hmm. These films, we don't. This is the first time in 30-some years where we don't know what's actually going to happen to these characters.
I would argue, though, that the questions that are sitting on the table that have not been answered actually makes the movie stronger. Like, what happened to Luke? How did his pupils fall apart and turn into the whole mess that it was? And how did they all get slaughtered? And what happened? And why is Luke running away? And
why is the Millennium Falcon on Jakku?
Yeah, like this makes it stronger, not weaker, in my opinion. And you don't need to answer all of those questions.
I guess my concern is that are they actually going to answer some of these questions? Because JJ also has a history of that.
I think we're going to know pretty thoroughly what happened to Luke and who he is. I also don't think he's going to be a very strong character.
No, we both think that Luke Skywalker is going to be a mentally scarred mentor.
But we'll get into that later.
But I call it the lost syndrome, where they raise a lot of questions and don't answer the questions. But do you think that's going to happen where they're not going to answer these? Like, for example, my big one is why is Millennium Falcon on Jakku?
No, we don't need to know that. We already know that.
But no, we don't.
Han Solo said it was like stolen from him, and then someone.
Well, where are the chances it's going to end up on her planet, and then he's going to happen to find it?
The Force has a way to bring balance.
No. See, okay, that's another question. That we raised that question later on. Actually, I think about the Force.
Yeah, so we're on this one.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. Okay, What is your favorite character?
Ray.
Yeah,
Ray,
at the same
right off
Ray
the
too.
bat.
Yeah, Ray.
Ray, I like her. She's different. First of all,
Yes.
she's not a repeat of Luke Skywalker, who was kind of whiny and I don't know. Like Ray, not only was she really powerful with the Force, but her character, it was a very bright character, a very positive character. And she was always like very trustworthy too. Like when Finn was telling her that she's with the Resistance, and he's clearly not. Even by the way he's saying it, he says it like 3 times. He's like,
He's like, yeah.
I'm with the
Resistance. I'm with the Resistance.
With the Resistance.
And
Like,
she has this.
obviously he's not.
And
But
she's like,
really?
I've never met anyone.
You're
from
with the Resistance,
before.
really? Like, and I love that though. She's very like trustworthy and just a cheerful, bright character. And when she's like going into the Force, she's like, "Oh, the Force!" Like at the very end when Kyle's like trying to beat her down, and he's like, "You could use a teacher, so I could teach you in the ways of the Force." She's like, "Oh, the Force, yeah." And she closes her eyes, and then she just beats the crap out of him. Like,
Yeah.
I also think this is a character who maybe we've seen before, but I know you hate that.
He believes the theory that Rey is Anakin Skywalker reincarnated.
I do.
Which I don't buy that at all.
There's a theory online. I watched it. It wasn't extremely compelling, but it was very exciting.
You also were convinced Jar Jar Binks was Darth Plagueis.
I wasn't convinced. I thought it was fun. No, Lucas had no idea what he was doing.
Though that rumor did not play out about Darth Plagueis. Actually, the big rumor is that Luke Skywalker was the villain in the film. That was what a lot of people were thinking.
Yeah, some people thought that. I thought it could be a possibility.
Which I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen, at least the way we think it was going to, because it's Luke Skywalker. People like him too much. But
I also liked Finn a lot.
Finn was a good character. See, here's the thing. All the characters were good. They were all great characters.
And Poe. I wish we saw more Poe.
Oh, yeah, Poe. I could have seen the whole movie about Poe. He had the most charisma, besides Rey, he had the most charisma of anyone in the movie. But Rey, I love Rey, because you mentioned earlier how Luke was kind of a brat. Like, Luke was a whiny, he whined a lot about stuff, he was bratty, and Rey was a complete opposite. She was a survivor, she had to grow up on her own. Mm-hmm. She was a character, she reminded me of Nausicaa from Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, the Miyazaki film, where she's not a princess in Star Wars, but she has the same attributes and character, where she knows how to take care of herself. She's responsible. She takes responsibility for her actions, for her mistakes, which is something Luke didn't do. Luke was always like, blaming other things for why nothing worked. Like in Empire Strikes Back, he's like, "Why can't I be a Jedi now? Why can't I train now? God, I don't know what I'm doing here. We're wasting our time." It's like, after a while, it's like, "Oh God, just shut up."
Yeah.
Now you know where Anakin got from. Which is why I hope Rey's not related to either of them, because.
But here's the thing, like, Rey hasn't been taught a daggone thing about the Force, and yet she already can mind control people, and having the Force used against her from Kylo Ren taught her how to delve into his mind. And she was like, "Oh, you're afraid you're not going to be as good as powerful as Darth Vader, or me," I guess she should have said. I don't think she knows she's Vader yet, or Anakin yet. I don't think she knows as a person, but I think she's made out of the same substance that Anakin was. I think she is also from a virgin birth again. I do. I think that's interesting.
God, please no. We don't need another Phantom Menace thing where it's like.
Well, they're not going to talk about midi-chlorians. Gosh.
It's like, I don't know how it happened. I gave birth to him. I can't really say what happened.
I didn't like it when it happened, but it's canon, people. We have to get over the fact that it's canon, and maybe we can redeem it by recycling it. Maybe it's like reincarnation.
And what was that rumor that they're going to bring Hayden Christensen back to play Anakin?
Oh, what, in one of the spinoffs?
Or as like a ghost. Like he was like, and they were bringing back as like the ghost of Anakin.
We'll see.
I don't know.
I don't know if he's a terrible actor, because I feel like I saw him in another movie.
He's good.
I just don't think he was directed very well.
It's Lucas's fault.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let's say this out of the way. We love Lucas, okay? We love him.
Yes. Hats off.
He's, we wouldn't have Star Wars without him. He created Industrial Light and Magic.
He's just not a good director.
He's like, well, he used to be, but he basically took 30 years off from directing and forgot how to direct.
So he used to be.
I feel like if he had done like a few films to get back in the speed of things and then did Star Wars, it probably would have been great.
Yeah.
But he cold turkeyed it. It just. He had a family, his kids were running all around him while he was making it, and he probably wasn't really that focused. I don't know.
I just remembered, there is one character that is my absolute favorite from the movie. And I bet you we both have. Who's your absolute favorite character in the movie? I bet we have the same answer. 3, 2, 1.
Captain Phasma.
Phasma, yep. Boom, baby! Phasma.
Phasma is the most amazing character we've ever seen.
God.
The way she walks down the hall, the way she gets knocked out. I've never seen such great acting.
I've never seen a studio promote a character so much.
I love how shiny and chrome she was. Shiny and chrome.
Stop!
And she never looked marked. She was just beautiful.
No!
All the time.
Awful. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe she's going to have a bigger role. No, she's dead. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm thinking. She's not coming back.
She's coming back.
She was thrown in the trash compactor and then was turned into a star. She was gone.
She was castless in the next film. I love the fact that she never actually shot anyone. Like, she never shot one person in the film.
And how bad is she if she's like, here's the plans to destroy... I mean, how many people are living on that thing? Millions and millions of people?
Yes.
All gone. And Finn had no issue with that. But the blood of that one stormtrooper on his hands.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, oh gosh, I can't do this.
Okay, that's a good point. All right. I never thought about that. Okay, so he was so distraught that a stormtrooper just died. Now, he was really more distraught.
You can argue that it was a friend of his, though.
Well, he was more distraught that all the villagers were getting killed by them, not so much the stormtrooper.
I don't know. It was a stormtrooper dying in his arms.
Maybe it had to be a friend because he didn't just go and help kill millions of these guys with one fell swoop. Now, Captain Phasma, okay, I love the fact, or hate the fact, that they built her up to be this power female character, which I was looking forward to, having like a woman stormtrooper leader who would kick people's butt, and then they didn't do anything with her, and not only that, she got knocked out, had to be submissive to the guys taking everything, and basically ruined that whole...
She didn't even fight back.
She didn't fight back. I was like, okay,
that's alright.
Anyway. No.
You know, I don't know. Well, I would have been okay with it if they didn't play her up. I mean, she was like in all the press junkets, and like her toy was like, what, the third most made toy? Like...
I mean, she looks cool.
She looks cool, but I guess...
We hardly saw her.
I don't even know if the chrome stormtrooper look is cool to me.
Well, it makes me sad, too, because I feel like they're going to use her more in the next film, but no one's going to care because we didn't see anything in her in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't matter more. Like, if she turned good later on or something like that, we're not going to care because we hardly ever saw her do anything.
And what was it, though, that they did, that they had Phasma do? They lowered the shields? Is that what they did?
Yeah, they lowered the shields to the...
I just don't think she would have done that.
If she's a cool character, she probably would have let herself die before
I guarantee she's gonna she's gonna join the rebellion.
She has to, because why?
And I would be disappointed
no dark side person would ever do that. So
I don't know what they're doing with that. Alright, did you like the way the Force was handled in this movie?
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier. For the most part, yes. It bothered me. People have argued that Rey is a Mary Sue character, where she's like the perfect character that can do no wrong. And I don't totally agree with that because she does have weaknesses, and she is the way she is from understandable ways. That she grew up on her own. Again, like we said earlier, she grew up on her own. She was a loner, a survivor. She became this way for a good reason. It wasn't like she was born this way. This is just what she ended up being after the life that she lived. Now, and it's okay that she's able to access the Force so easily because I'm guessing...
She's Anakin Skywalker reincarnated.
I'm guessing... No, please no. I'm guessing that she's going to be more powerful than Luke or Anakin were in the long run. I think that's what building her up to be the most powerful Jedi ever. My issue with it is that what's the point if they're going to make Luke a mentor, if that's what's going to happen is him training her, why does he need to? Because she's already figured out how to do everything so far. Like she figured out...
we don't know that he's going to train her.
Well, like, you know, Kylo Ren has to go get trained because Snoke said he wants to train him. So, and he's already powerful in the Force, so why, you know... He needs training, obviously.
He needs discipline.
And she figured out how to mind meld. I'm gonna call him mind meld.
Mind meld. Yeah, mind control.
Mind control. She figured out how to fight with a lightsaber and anticipate moves before they happen. Mm-hmm. She's doing all this stuff that, you know, Luke he had to lift rocks.
I know. Did you see how hard it was for him to lift?
It was really hard.
That C-3PO in Return of the Jedi.
It was like really difficult. He was like, oh god. And then A New Hope. Was it A New Hope? No, Empire Strikes Back. Where he tried to get the lightsaber from the ice when the Wampa Beast was layer. And it took him like a good 20 seconds to get the lightsaber in his hand. It was like
That scene when she grabs the lightsaber
was really awesome.
It was really awesome, but the third time I saw it, I actually choked up a bit. I don't know why. It's like the third time I was able to like be more receptive of the emotions in the movie.
It helped that the music was so cool in that moment.
Yeah.
The music, it was just the right, and Finn just got his spine spliced open, which is a whole nother conversation. He got it bad, man. He got his spine sliced by a lightsaber. I'm amazed he was still alive at the end of that story.
Yeah.
Though I do feel bad for him because Rey kind of just leaves him and he's like in a coma.
Well, what is she gonna do?
I don't know, but it's like my thought was like they went through all this stuff together and now he's just lying there in a coma. He did not have a good time with this movie. So he was running from the New Order and he ends up basically almost dying anyway.
Landing on their freaking Star Killer.
On their Star Killer.
Like, he wanted to get away more than anyone from this thing. And he's the one who's going.
He got the worst out of anyone. Besides Han.
I do not like the people complaining about Finn's character, saying that he was too monotone and too cowardly. When the truth is, he went back to Star Killer to rescue a girl who tried to beat him up the moment he met her.
This is going back to characters that we like, I guess.
Yes.
'Cause
I'm just saying.
So, but what do you think about the Force? Was the Force?
I thought Kylo Ren. I loved seeing new ways of the Force. Stopping a laser.
That was
flight.
cool. Yeah.
That was new and brilliant. I didn't even see it coming. And it was awesome in the sound effects and the way it was kind of like going forward and back.
It was like.
It was
and then
like
he lets it go. It still goes anyway.
It was like he hit pause on a really bad VHS. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And
I love how he interrogates people with the Force. We hadn't seen that.
Exactly. That was new. And I thought that was really cool. I also liked that Poe broke and gave him the information that he
did.
I like that. I like that because he's not. What'd you call it?
Force.
Her before. You called.
Mary Sue.
Yeah, he's not a Mary Sue. And that makes the character more relatable, I think. But I don't need Rey to be relatable. I really don't.
But
I don't have a trouble.
But she's not a Mary Sue, though. I don't think she's a Mary Sue. I
don't
think she's
so.
more perfect than Poe is, yeah. But
I just think she's really innocent, that she doesn't have a lot of issues.
Yeah, if she did obviously have weaknesses, like for one, that she misses her fam. She wants a family. That is a weakness, and I guarantee you they're going to bring that up in the next films as being a weakness of hers.
Yeah.
That she's wanting that family so much that she's going to be willing to. That can be utilized against her. So, because she was crying over it, she ran away over that topic about having to give up looking for a family and accepting this whole lightsaber thing. That was a problem for her. So she's not a Mary Sue.
And there's a lot of questions that the Force brings up too. It's like when Kylo was digging in her mind or whatever, and he was like, "Don't be afraid. I feel it too. Like I feel it too." Like what?
Yeah, what were they feeling?
What is? I don't know. And
the Force.
And how did he pry out of her the ocean scene? And is that a place that she goes to in her mind to meditate, or has she been there before?
And there's been theories about all this stuff, and I'm sure people have answers for all this.
She better not be Luke's daughter. I'm telling you now. I will not be happy.
No, why is that? Why do you not want
Because everyone already thinks she's Luke's daughter. In the movie,
or Han and Leia's daughter. That'd be the other side of it.
Maybe.
Which is what because look.
Well, yeah, because Leia acted like they knew each other.
Yeah, which was weird, by the way.
They walked to each other and hugged, which was kind of weird.
It was kind of weird that Han dies. She's never seen Rey before, and they just hug on their first seeing each other. I'm guessing because
and Chewie just walked by.
I guess because Han was going out of his way to rescue her. They were doing the Star Killer base, but they were also looking for Rey. So I thought maybe it's because that was Han's last thing, and she was associated with that. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the side thing. But so here's the next question then. Do you like the visual effects?
Are you serious? I thought we already went through that.
We kind of did already do that.
Boo! Just read me the next one.
Yeah, we did that one already. Who are these people?
Who are these people?
Who are these people?
Oh, yeah, like I've said, Rey, boom.
I
think so.
Oh, that's who you think. She's, yeah, he thinks the Rey is Anakin reincarnated.
Snoke, is he Plagueis? Or is he like a clone of Vader because of the scar marks? He's got the scar right here and the scar right across there, which exactly lines up Anakin in Episode 6 when he takes off his mask.
See, I feel like that's J.J. Abrams messing with us because, I
don't know.
Because why? It's not Darth Vader. It's not the same.
I'm not saying it is. A clone wouldn't keep scars either, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's for those who don't know, Emperor is a Supreme Leader Snoke. We've been saying
Snoke.
I think it said Snoke earlier.
Yeah. It's with a K. It's with a K.
Snoke, there was a rumor going around that he is Darth Vader because he has the same facial scars that Darth Vader did when the mask was taken off him in Return of the Jedi. Well, which is true. They actually
Because he burned his body, so what's going
doesn't make
on
sense.
here? I don't know.
Then there was the rumor that it was Darth Plagueis because that's who taught Emperor Palpatine,
Yes.
which could technically still be true.
It could be cool.
Which would be cool because that would be a reasonable explanation for why there's a new dark side.
And this guy looks really old. So
yeah,
he was alive during the prequels.
Though I just remembered that I think Andy Serkis debunked that whole rumor that it was Darth Plagueis. I think he actually came out and said that it wasn't Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, he also said he was really, really big. I mean, we don't know how big he is. It was a
That's true.
hologram.
Andy Serkis did say that he was huge, but that actually might not be how big he really is because it was a hologram the whole time.
Well, and don't forget, JJ hired him, and guess who else JJ hired before? The guy who played Khan. And he promised, what's his name? Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Promised that he wasn't Khan.
Yeah, he lied. They all lied to us.
Do you really think...
For a dumb reason, by the way.
Yeah.
We all knew it was Khan.
So, I mean...
But then what about characters like... let's talk about Finn for a second.
He better not be any relation to anyone from the past.
Because the film presented him as being a number. Like, he was a number guy
Which is
that
good.
was raised...
FN, whatever.
He's like a nobody, basically. Who becomes a somebody.
Yeah. But he's not a clone. So he's not a clone trooper. He is this new breed of soldiers that they got.
Which I love that they talk about the clones. They actually mention clones in the film. I was like, oh,
good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
Is that the only mention of the prequels?
No. There was something else. I'm not remembering off the top of my head. They did mention something else in the prequels. I don't remember it now. They did have the pod racer flags on
that's
Moss's
right.
castle. They were all the pod racer flags. I was like, oh look. And then there actually were pod racers on Jakku too. I think you could see like a pod racer in the background.
Oh, speaking of the Force being used, they said that a deleted scene was Maz Kanata using the Force.
Yes, that she actually.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did, and she actually can use the Force, which is a huge thing. Which makes me wonder that.
Well, it's not that big a thing because think about it. You don't have to have some blood relation to be a Jedi.
No, but
because Luke had a ton of Jedis.
But what changed what she's capable of doing though? Like she can actually defend herself and fight people with the Force. Though I can see why they cut that out because maybe they decided last minute not to make that a thing with her. So
if there's too much Force, it's gonna feel like a prequel.
Yeah,
that was one of the good things about the originals is that the Force was very like mysterious and like even Han didn't even believe that it was like some superstitious stuff. I don't believe in the Force, you know. And I wanted them to kind of keep to that. You know, if you use the Force too much, it waters it down, it saturates, and it just makes it not as cool.
And we have to talk about too the rumor about Rey possibly being related to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is another because she talks just like him, same accent. Which I'm sorry, there's no reason why she would have a British accent on a desert planet growing up by herself, unless whoever she was related to was British.
Yes, they could go that route. They
could totally go that route. How that would work out, I have no idea. But she acts like Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan also was like her, where he was very responsible, never whined about stuff, was very much the go-to Jedi leader. She follows that mode like almost to a T, of being that really good Jedi person. But I don't know. We don't know. We're all speculating here. We have no idea. The director of Episode 9 did say that we're all going to be very, very satisfied with the answer. That's a very satisfying answer, which gives me hope that it's going to be something that we all are going to be happy with. Yes. That's going to be a good answer.
So, what are your predictions for the next film or the next films in the episode series?
Episode 8 will definitely take place on those islands at the end with Luke. Not the whole time.
You think it'll take place there?
I think it will start there.
Oh, okay.
Not that yet. The whole movie won't take place there, but they're definitely going to have a lot of scenes there because that's where Luke's been this whole time. And
where did Episode 5 start off?
On Hoth.
On Hoth, see?
Yeah.
Somewhere we haven't even seen.
But see, the first one didn't end with a setup like that. It just ended up winning awards.
Oh, that's right. It was kind of like a single movie.
It actually was a kind of a single movie. It didn't set up a sequel.
Okay, so we can't really...
Yeah, the only thing it had was that Darth Vader escaped on a TIE fighter, and that's all you saw as the setup.
So for Lucas, they did that.
Because they did. Yes. So this film definitely set it up that they were going to have to deal with Luke. They're going to have her on the islands.
But how much further in the future is this going to take place? You think 3 years?
2 or 3 years, I think. 2 to 3 years. Not too long. You don't usually go
she's
very
gonna be
long.
fully trained? They're not going to do like a training montage like Rocky.
Well, I guess
and,
it's my yeah. She's like on rocks and she's got a lightsaber and he's on the other rock. He's like on the it's
bow,
in a cross line.
bow, 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 bow.
So it's like
I'm kidding.
yeah, Ray's like
No, they're gonna not.
No, I think it's definitely going to take place in Islands at first, and she's going to have to go through training. Even though she's figured out the Force fast, she doesn't know how to control it. She's basically has this really raw power, like Kylo
You
does.
think she does?
Well, think about it.
I think she just doesn't remember. She's like, oh, the Force, that's right.
No, she's
and
not.
Boom!
She's not.
Anakin Skywalker. What?
If she's Anakin, I'm boycotting this.
Oh, come on!
It's so stupid.
I don't think she's gonna remember she's Anakin
Why can't she
until
just-
like the final movie.
Why can't she just be a new character? Maybe she's not even a Skywalker at all. Maybe she's something else
Well, yeah,
completely different.
and I would prefer that rather than her being related to Leia or Luke.
Maybe she's like a distant cousin.
Like in that way.
Like a fifth cousin twice removed.
But they did say that they're going to do something new. And you know, they had the virgin birth thing, and then they have reincarnation is the next thing. Just saying.
I think, okay, episode 8.
Luke is going to be broken.
Luke is going to be broken. He's not going to be this all-together
He's
guy
not
like
gonna be
Obi-Wan
another
Kenobi was.
Obi-Wan,
He won't be
yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's going to be hurt and mentally scarred.
Yes.
And Rey's
Yes.
going to have to help bring him back. And I'm sure there's going to be a point in the film where he's going to finally come back and be all badass and like have a lightsaber and start fighting people because like it's Mark Hamill.
Or what if she and Kylo Ren make amends? Because he's gonna have a character arc, and maybe he becomes good for episode 9, and they have to fight Luke in the end. Luke and Snoke team up, his buddy old pals. No,
That's stupid.
no.
That's not good.
No, I think Luke's gonna be good the whole way, but I don't think he's gonna be strong the whole way.
He's not going to be strong. And
I think he's emotionally frail.
yeah, and we also have to talk about the fact that they're introducing a new villain in this one too, Benicio del Toro's character.
Oh, that's right.
He's gonna be a new villain.
Okay, so
that's
that's
gonna
he's gonna be
change-
like the Sith Lord under.
No, he's probably gonna be
Snoke?
like a New Order guy or
So
something.
you don't think he's gonna be a Force user?
Probably not. I don't think.
He looks like a Force user though. Benicio.
But he also could be a good general guy. He could be the guy that like walks in and like just.
He's got to be a villain.
He's a villain. I'm pretty sure he's a villain. So that's gonna change.
But it can't be a general because they've already got Hux. So.
Oh yeah, Hux.
So.
Has that character too. I think it's definitely episode 8 is going to be a What I'm hoping they do is that they have the thing with Luke Skywalker, but they don't make a whole movie out of that like Empire Strikes Back did with Yoda. I don't want it to be like Empire Strikes Back 2.0. I want it to be its own original film. And I'm hoping, because the thing about Rian Johnson, I actually was happy they hired Rian Johnson to do episode 8. Because he's a very original director who's not afraid to be edgy.
And what else did he do?
He did Looper.
Yeah.
But see, because Looper, it wasn't the greatest movie, but it was original, and it was.
You might be able to blame the script with that.
Yeah, well, he wrote that too. So he's writing. He's writing 8 and 9.
Oh, I didn't know he was writing those.
Yeah, he's writing 8 and 9.
So what about?
But I have some. They must have confidence in this guy though, because he's the only one writing them.
So Lawrence Kasdan
is not involved with them.
Oh dang!
So Force Awakens had like 3 different writers.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy's got to have some sort of.
She does have a say, but she's
like, this is what we're saying with the story.
But as far as credits, it's only one guy.
Dang.
So he must have done a pretty darn good job.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I'm excited about him. 'Cause I feel that he's going to push in directions that it's never gone before.
Yeah. Go watch Looper and then give up all hope.
And he also, but see, he did another film before that he was actually more known for.
I mean, Looper was okay. I just thought it was.
Well, and again, it wasn't. I liked it because because it did a lot of creative things I'd never seen before in a film. Like
I had to see it again.
Even how it handled time travel was a new concept of where it was like an instant appearance kind of thing, and they used time travel as a way to assassinate people.
Yeah, that was neat.
It was pretty cool, and the whole kid being the supernatural, powerful kid that could tear people apart with his mind.
I had to see that movie.
It's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool concept. So when I heard he was doing Star Wars, I was like, oh, that's what Star Wars needs. They need someone who's dark and gritty and original like that.
I do think this movie is going to be as dark as Episode 5 or darker.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be anything lighter.
Well, because even Force Awakens might have even been darker than Empire Strikes Back. I mean, Han Solo gets killed by his son.
Yeah.
Who died in Empire Strikes Back? No one
But
died.
Empire Strikes Back was like Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out that his father, who he used to look up to in Episode 4 and thought he was this great, hero guy, is the most powerful evil person in the universe to Luke's knowledge. And then Han Solo gets thrown away in the carbon freezing.
Well, I guess you
chamber.
can argue too that the Rebel Alliance was also on the run in that movie, so that both the
It's
rebels.
a darker movie.
So everyone was basically on the run in that movie. But as far as
Killer got destroyed in this, and Chewie shot the main villain. So,
but I will say that this was the more sinister film though, like because Kylo Ren kills his dad with a lightsaber.
yeah,
And then,
actually, yeah.
and then Chewbacca shoots him. And remember that Chewbacca's probably helped raise the kid, helped raise Kylo Ren, so he shoots him.
It's like shooting.
It's like his
nephew.
Yeah, and he has to shoot his nephew essentially, and he just watched his best friend get killed.
Uncle Chewie, what are you doing?
Uncle Chewie!
Uncle Choo Choo!
Oh, choo choo! Choo choo! And then he blows up the entire base. So and then the whole scene afterward, Finn gets his spine cut by the. It's dark.
Do you think it got through the bone or just skin?
I don't know, man. A lightsaber goes through everything.
Well, no, but if it wasn't long enough, it only just like.
I mean, when you saw sparks and shirt flying from his body, it was bad. It was a bad cut.
Yeah. All right. So, do you think Finn is going to be hunting and trying to find her, or do you think they've already found each other again? Like in episode.
Well, they don't
8,
know.
Are we going to see the first time they meet up again after years, or are they going to be like just characters?
I think we'll see him meet up for the first time after 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Because he's in a coma when we leave him. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So who knows how long he's out?
And who knows how long? I mean, and why? Here's the other thing. Why in the world did Leia send Rey to the island, but she didn't go herself when she's been looking for him for years? Like, there's something going on, people. There's something going on. I think she unfortunately might be some sort of weird relation to Luke.
Oh, the whole brother-sister thing?
What?
What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying Rey's got to have a relationship.
I didn't
to
know about
Luke.
Leia. I was like,
Leia sent Rey to go
Yeah.
to Luke instead of going herself.
Well, because they were trying to get Rey just because she had his lightsaber, and it was.
Yeah, she'd be like, hey, give me that. You don't know what you're doing.
And the lightsaber chose her, basically.
I mean, did anyone how does Leia know that Rey has the Force? I mean, Han died.
They probably explained that. They already knew that by the time they saw her.
Did they? Did even
that's
Han
true.
Solo know?
Maybe not.
Han Solo didn't even know Rey had the Force. I'm telling you, something's going on. And predictions, I think Leia knows who she is, and that's why they hug each other.
I think Finn's going to be more hardcore in the next film because after the scar, he's going to turn into more of an adult.
No, that's okay.
He's going to get more hardcore because his whole back got
and then
sliced.
Kylo as well. He's going to have a scar right here.
Yeah, that's right. He will have a scar. He's going to have a scar. He's going to scar down
and his lightsaber is cut in half.
So he has to build a new lightsaber. So hopefully it's not that fire thing he has.
Yeah.
And then Poe's probably going to be more have an action hero kind of part going on in the movie. And
do you think we're going to hear where the lightsaber came from that Maz Kanata bequeathed?
Well, here's the rumor. The rumor before the film came out is that lightsaber was the original rumor was that the film started episode 7 starts with Luke's hand floating through space with the lightsaber and landing on Jakku. Like it landed somewhere, and that's how they found it.
What are you talking about?
This was a big rumor.
Episode 7?
Yeah, that the film started off with Luke Skywalker's hand.
That would have been awful.
Which I thought was an awful idea. But
I have not heard that.
But there were multiple sources saying that that's what it was.
Thank you.
So I think they obviously got rid of that, but they still have to explain because this isn't just Luke Skywalker's. This isn't his Return of the Jedi lightsaber. This is Anakin's lightsaber.
And where is Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber from his fight with Darth Vader?
Well, that one's just gone.
Is it just gone?
I mean, Darth Vader probably took it and
maybe what?
Blew up with the Death Star probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but definitely this is Anakin's.
This is definitely the one from Cloud City.
This is the prequel lightsaber that she's using right now. So it's interesting. We're going to see how really that's another answer they need to give is where the heck did that lightsaber come from? How did she get a lightsaber?
They don't need to answer that. I don't think that.
They need to.
We know that Maz Kanata got it. Han was like, how did you get this? She's like, that's a question for another time.
Well, they didn't answer that question.
That's all we needed, though. Now it's addressed. We know that she somehow magically got it.
So she
that's all we need to know.
So she happens to find a lightsaber that fell from Cloud City.
No, she doesn't happen to find it.
Into a gas planet, mind you.
Was it a gas planet? I thought there was a surface.
No, there's no surface. Or there is. It's such an unlivable condition that it would have been burnt up in the process.
Well, Okay.
So like, you know, how the heck would she find that lightsaber? She's like, that's a question for another day.
Well, we don't
That's
even know.
That's
hold on, though.
such a convenient
But
screen.
we don't even know that it fell into one of the garbage chutes. It could have fallen somewhere else.
We saw his hand fall from the thing.
I know. It could have just fallen straight down and landed. Because if you remember, when he lands in the tunnel, in the little tube, there's all this other area you could have landed.
But when he falls and he's hanging from clouds, you see his hand falling into the clouds.
What?
That little thing that's falling down, which they never.
What? I didn't know that.
You never noticed that?
I've never noticed
Now,
that.
there's rumors about whether it is or not, but it definitely looks like a hand when it's falling
Oh,
down.
dang.
it's
I've never seen
yeah,
that.
So, my thing is that if that's true, that means his lightsaber just went falling into the clouds.
Maybe.
And and then somehow this little alien thing that happened to be around the entire time of the original trilogy, by the way.
Yeah, she's what, 1,000 years old?
She's like older than Yoda is. And so where was she? During all that stuff.
And she got the Force.
And Han knows her apparently, so he only like met her like in the after Return of the Jedi.
Oh no, he may have known her before.
And why would he? And if she was Force wielding, if she actually knew how to use the Force like that deleted scene hints at, then where the heck was she during all that stuff? And she had Anakin Skywalker's.
Well, it is a big
lightsaber.
universe. It is a big
And
universe.
like, did she get that lightsaber during the original trilogy period of time, like during Return of the Jedi?
Or did she just find it?
And why would she go give it to Luke?
And why would she want to keep it herself?
Yeah, why would she keep it herself? No, because Luke gave it. That's right. Luke gave it to her. That's right. I forgot that part.
What?
Don't they say in the movie that Luke gave her that lightsaber to hold on to?
No.
Did they not say that?
No, I don't think so. All she says is that Anakin owned it, and then Luke, and now you. I don't think she said that Luke told her anything. I'm pretty sure. All right, so if we're gonna rate this movie,
I'm gonna rate this movie now. This is out 1 out of 100.
1 out of 100.
Go and rate this movie.
Rate the movie. I'm feeling like an 88 out of 100. Maybe 89. I'm feeling 89 out of 100.
I'm feeling like a 90.4.
A 90.4? Oh my gosh! All right, I'm sorry. We're not using the 1,000-point scale.
I'm marking
900.
I'm marking a few points for those aliens on the Millennium Falcon scene. They're like cut off. I would have given it a 91, but I can't. It's just the CGI just isn't enough. So 90.4.
Yeah, like if the music was stronger, if they got rid of that little scene there, if Phasma was somehow different, not in it, or better, something.
And it did retreat on a lot of old ground, which means that it wasn't really trying a lot of new things.
That's fine.
Which the
For
character.
this movie, they better not do it in the next.
No, they can't
too
do it for
much.
the next movies. They cannot repeat the movies again.
Also, a lack of spaceships, I noticed. There was nothing.
Yeah, there weren't that many spaceships.
But TIE fighters and the X-Wings.
Were there any space battles in this movie?
Yeah, well, the one on Starkiller is technically a space battle, I guess.
But no, it was a
But it's
planet.
not, because I think they stole a moon or
That
a
was an
planet
aerial battle.
and then hollowed it out.
That was an aerial battle. They were on a planet, so they were in the atmosphere.
There was no space
There was no space battles.
But you know, they had like the Y bombers or whatever they're called in the other
Yeah.
movies, and I mean, there's a lot of ships.
That's true.
There should have been more ships, I think. Phasma should have been different, better music, and the Men in Black aliens. So I think all that.
I will say
puts me at
first-
about 80 and 89 out of
Yeah.
100, which is a very high score, by the way, for
Yeah.
me. I'm a really strict critic.
I give it a really good. I give it a 90.4. Because
You won't even remember that score tomorrow.
9.4, because I do feel like it's the best Star Wars movie we've seen since Return of the Jedi, for sure.
Yes.
And you could even argue it's better than Return of the Jedi is, but that's,
I'm gonna go.
but that's hard because there's some
Okay.
scenes in Return of the Jedi.
I think it's better than A New Hope. I do.
I don't agree with that scene.
I do. I just watched all three. I think it's better than A New Hope, but I think this is my third favorite Star Wars movie.
So what's your
it would be
first two?
first favorite. It's really hard to say. Return of the Jedi has my favorite scenes, but it also has the Ewoks, which the Ewoks aren't terrible. They don't bother me as much as they bother other people, but that does hurt it a little bit. So it's either that or Empire Strikes Back. They're pretty much neck and neck for me. So it's going to be those two in first place, in second, and then Force Awakens, and then A New Hope, and then I guess Episode 3, Episode 1, Episode 2. Gosh,
My order is
Episode 2 is still not good.
Empire Strikes Back is 1, A New Hope is 2nd. Where I'm getting confused about or not sure about is Force Awakens or Return of the Jedi next on that list. The reason why I love Return of the Jedi. It's got amazing scenes, including the whole Luke going crazy on his father lightsaber scene, which is fantastic. You got the speeder bikes, which is great.
Especially for its time.
Where Return of the Jedi loses me sometimes is the humor. The humor is just not funny in the movie.
Han Solo wasn't himself as much.
And Han Solo didn't have anything to do. Like, his character... And this is where the whole argument was.
I know, but no, don't kill him. Don't kill him.
And yeah, they want him to die in the original. And you can see why, because he had nothing to do. He basically was there for comedic humor.
You're right.
Which sucked. And so that's why Force Awakens was so great, because Han Solo finally had some emotional weight. Besides, because he did Empire Strikes Back, but then Return of the Jedi, I was like, yeah, okay. This one, though, he was front and forward and prominent, has the most emotional scene in the film. And the emotional scenes are, by the way, like hugely, amazingly well done scenes. I don't know.
It just would have been so much better if they had better music. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was the music, and the fact that it wasn't really pushing. Well, the characters were definitely pushing new boundaries for sure. The characters were way new kind of things. First of all, I love the fact that they have a female lead. I remember going to the movie saying that what they have to do, if they don't do this, I'm going to be mad, is that they have to make the lead character a woman.
They didn't have to, but
no, I know that they had to, because the only way they were going to be able to make it stand out from the original films. And make it anything different.
Well, Luke was supposed to be a woman to begin with.
Yeah, so. They're going to make this any different. They're going to have to go a completely different route. And they did, which thank God they did. And so that's great. But
I don't really care if it's a woman or a guy, honestly.
I think I'm just tired of guys.
Like, when I saw Rey, I was like, oh, she's a woman. I didn't even think she was a woman. You know, I think
there's
another character.
I think after Anakin, I was kind of burnt out from guys, because guys always in these movies end up being emo, like
Anakin and Luke.
They always sulk and are just mad. And a woman won't be like that. So like I want a woman, someone.
Wow, you sexist pig!
Yeah, because men are stupid, by the way.
Dang it.
We make stupid choices, and Anakin did too, and so did Luke, and so. Yeah. Women, I mean, they can make bad choices too, but not the stupid, idiotic kind of choices that men make. They make more like other kind of choices. But anyway,
I don't think we're gonna make videos together anymore. I can't sit next to a sexist. Like
I'm sexist against men. I can't do it. But Ray also so happy about that. But the movie as itself, I could put third or fourth in line, maybe probably third, honestly, because it was that good.
So you think it's better than either Return of the Jedi? You think it's better than Return of the Jedi?
I think it might be. It's definitely better put together.
But remember the beginning with the whole Jabba's palace.
Which is, again, the movie is great. It's not like it's not a great movie. It's like comparing two really good movies. I feel like Force Awakens just had more emotional weight to it.
Your wife is pulling in the driveway. We better wrap this up now. Thank you guys for tuning in. We were going to come out with a lot more video game stuff here very soon,
but check into Scruffy looking gamers.
Yes.
Next time, and we'll see you guys next time. When my wife comes in, because she totally knows what we're doing.
Lock the door! I'm going to lock the door.